Hello guys, Alan Butler here again. Going to go over some of the tools of the trade with you. A few of these things you might not need if you're just doing small projects around your home. Every one of these you will most definitely need if you're planning on getting a job as a mason, learning to lay brick, and doing it as a profession. I'll go a little bit more in depth of the brands and what type to buy and what the best ones are to buy if it's requested, if that's something you would like to see. Um, I'm going to start off here with a 2-foot level. 2-foot level obviously is the plumb, keep things going straight up and down, and to level your work. Your level is only good for the length of the level. So if you've got something, if you got a lead, and a lead is where you rack back in the corner and step your block back or brick or whatever it may be, a 2-foot level is only good for 2 foot. Once you go past 2 foot, you need to have a 4-foot level. You can't plumb or level something that's 4 foot long with a 2-foot level unless you've got a corner pole or something straight to put under that level. The one that I'm showing here in the picture is a crick. The quality's good. The price is a little high, I think, for a 2-footer. Back when I was using them, they were $75 to $90 for a 2-foot level. The quality has kind of gone down over the past 2 or 3 years. The next level we've got is a 4-foot level. And once again, your level is only as good for the length of the level. 4-footer, you can plumb, level, whatever you need. 4-foot, you can pretty much do just about anything you want to do with a 4-footer. Some tight places you can't get a 4-footer into, you might need to use a 2-footer. If you're working around your house, just kind of doing stuff for fun, I would not recommend purchasing a 4-foot level unless you got one of the cheap ones from Walmart or Lowe's or something like that. 4-foot crick is probably going to run you around $200 at least at this point in time. They make some other ones that are a little bit better. I can't think of the names right now, but we'll go through those at another time. The next thing we have here is a brush, and not just any brush. This is a horsehair brush, so they don't kill the horses or hurt the horses in any way for you PETA people out there. It's just horsehair from the mane or the tail, and it's a really soft brush, so you can do your jointing and your striking, and then you can use this to brush it a lot sooner than what you would be able to with a really stiff brush. A really stiff brush is going to leave lines in your mortar joints, and all that stuff is not going to look good. If you don't have a hard brush in your bag, then you need to brush your work a lot sooner than you would normally. If you let it set up, then you're going to have to press real hard with your horsehair brush, and you're going to tear it up and damage it, to get the look that you're going for. The next thing we have is a brick hammer. The blunt end is for driving nails, beating out mortar pans, or whatever you may need it for. The sharp end is for cutting brick or block or whatever it is you may be cutting. My dad taught me to cut near about everything you could think of with a hammer. I could cut in arches with a hammer. I cut around pipes with 8-inch CMU with a hammer. Whenever you're cutting with the brick hammer, instead of cutting flat with the edge of the hammer hitting flat on the unit that you're trying to cut, you want to use the corner of it and make the line all the way through, then come back all the way through again, and then flip it over, do the same thing on the other side, and eventually you'll get it cut in half. This is just a cheap, regular, average hammer. I like the plumb hammers. I like the other ones that have a little bit shorter head, but that's for another video. The next thing we have here is a joiner, and this is a Hubbard round joiner. This is the only thing I let my guys strike round joints with. I cannot stand those flat pieces of steel that they've bent a little bit of a curve into. I think they make the joints look like crap. They just don't look good. And these joiners, they got one end that comes down, the tube is beveled, and then another end that the tube's straight. So 90% of masons, even the guys out there making $25, $30 an hour, I see them put these tubes on backwards every damn time, it seems like. So when you put that tube on, everybody thinks that the concave or rounded end goes to the outside. That is not the case. You want the round end to the inside, so you can use the heel of your joiner whenever your mortar joint's set up a little bit, and whenever you're striking something a little bit wet, if you've got the concave on the end, it's going to want to pull your mortar out of the joint. It's going to leave ripples in it all the way through the joint whenever you're striking. With the flat end, as soon as it comes off, it leaves the mortar nice and smooth. All right, so now we're moving along to line blocks. Line blocks are something that you are going to need whenever you're building a masonry wall or a pair of steps or whatever it is. You want to hang. You're going to have a line. You're going to get everything plumb and level on one side, plumb and level on the other side, and then you're going to hang a line from one point to the same point on the other side, and you're going to lay your units to that line. These line blocks, as they're obviously called line blocks for a reason, you take your line, tie it into the block, and then you hook it on one end, do the same thing on the other end. That's what holds your line up. If anybody would like to see it, I can do a quick video on how to tie line blocks. It's very, very simple. I see guys all the time wrapping, and it takes them damn 30 seconds to wrap line around the block, and they got half the damn ball line around the line block. Makes no sense. You can wrap it a couple times, hook it up, you're good to go. So the next thing we've got here is a ball of line. This is not just any line. This is braided line. This is the best line that you can use. This is exact color and everything that I've always used. So twisted line, the nylon line, it breaks really, really easy. If you're doing something around your home, just a regular twisted line would be more than enough for you guys. If you're actually doing this stuff on the job and you want to get into the trade, get braided line. It is well worth it. I don't know how many times we've pulled something on a 30, 40-foot stretch of wall, and somebody ends up cutting it with their trowel or hitting it with a hammer. And whenever that twig comes running through there, I'll show you what a twig is in just a minute. That twig comes through there, it'll slice you open. So with the braided line, it's got a lot more strength. I mean, this stuff I've used for trot lines in the river, and I've strung it across 100 feet and tied lines to it and had it full of catfish the next morning. This stuff just doesn't break. And once it gets hard and dry rotted, you got to be a little careful with it, but it's a great line to use. Next thing we got is a trowel. Trowel is what you use to spread the mortar, cut the mortar off the brick, and throw your head joints, block, whatever it is you're laying. This specific trowel is a Marshalltown. I never really cared for Marshalltown. I never used them. I used Rose, which Rose has a wood handle with leather straps on it. And once again, if you would like to see the videos or a video on the different brands and the quality of each brand, I can do that at a later date. I will say a trowel is something that you cannot send your mom or your grandma or girlfriend or brother to the store to buy for you. It's something you have to hold in your hand, and you've got to feel it. So each trowel, they may look the same. There's different lengths. I always use an 11.5-inch trowel. I know some guys switch and go for like a 13 whenever they're laying CMU, which is 8-inch block, 12-inch block, and then go down to a small trowel when they're laying brick. I use 11.5 for everything. I will say the pitch was the biggest thing for me. Whenever you lay your trowel flat on, let's get this down here. There you go. Whenever you lay your trowel flat on the table, this part right here is the pitch for the handle. So I like my pitch a certain way. So some trowels you grab and it just feels like it could be the same brand, same length and everything, and it just feels like something completely alien to you. It just don't feel right. It's not the right pitch. It's not the right feel, and it just makes the day uncomfortable. So pick your own trowel. Next thing we've got is a tuck pointer. They make 3/8, 1/2 inch. Those are worthless. There's no point in having a 1/2 inch, 3/8 tuck pointer. You want the 1/4 inch tuck pointers, and these you get. So whenever you have toothings, which your brick's sticking out like this, you lay your other brick in between them at the corners or wherever it may be. And other applications, whether you're laying up tight against something, you need to get mortar in a crack, or if you miss something or you grind something out and pointing it up, you put the mortar flat on your trowel and you take that tuck pointer and you push it into the joints. Like I said, that's why your mortar joints are 3/8 of an inch. 3/8. So what's the point in having a 3/8 tuck pointer? It's not going to fit in the joint. So get a 1/4 inch tuck pointer. The biggest thing with these, I don't have a brand in mind that I ever really cared too much about. But if you see where the wooden handle is, and then you see the steel coming out of the handle, it drops down and then it goes out to the blade. Whenever you pick one, you want to make sure that all that is one piece of steel. If it's got a weld, this worthless is going to be broken in 2 or 3 days. Last thing we have is the line twig. So we talked about earlier hanging your line up from one end to the other with line blocks. The twig is for, say, if my corner was too wet and I couldn't pull tension on the line without pulling it over. So you can hook one in or run your line way on past your corners, and you can't hardly see it here in this picture, but the twig is flat, it's folded over, and there's a little loop in it. So you can hook your line in it, and you can set your line down on your brick or whatever it is you're laying and set something else on top of it and hold your line right flush to the edge of whatever unit you're laying. If there's anything in here that you guys would like to know more about or see the brands that you know that I would recommend purchasing, comment below. Also, if you would like to see a video more in depth, if you're actually thinking about getting into this trade, these are only a few of the items that you're going to need. I can get way in depth with some of this stuff. I've got toolboxes full of a lot of things that a lot of people haven't ever seen. Different types of joiner, grapevine joiners. Um, We've got the reverse grapevine. There's a rat tail joiner that we used to use to strike fireplaces with, which I think most people don't even know what the hell that means anymore. But if there's anything else you would like to see, please comment, and I will try to oblige. Thank you very much. Have a good day.